So Friday night, I had a date with this cute Amherst boy, Archie, and we went to a lecture by Margaret Mead, who said that young people in college should not marry, but should experiment.
Who said that, Margaret Mead or Archie?
Well, Margaret, evidently. I understood her to mean experiment mentally, but Archie insisted she meant physically. And that's why I've got to look around for somebody else for next Saturday night. Well, that gives her the first round anyway. Monday night, I heard Norman Thomas speak on disarmament, which he naturally regards as absolutely necessary. And isn't the world situation simply abysmal? I sometimes think it won't last another week, and here I am, still a virgin. Wow. Liz, would you get the paper, the morning paper, the evening paper?
Okay, but don't go on till I get back.
I sometimes think it won't last another week, and here I am, still a virgin.
Still a what?
Student.
Is that all? Could I be excused, please?
Yes, dear.
Look, Anne, how prepared would you say Molly is for this sort of thing?
What sort of thing?
You know darn well what sort of thing I mean.
Well, a girl would have to be pretty dumb, you know, not to have picked up a few of the essentials by the time she was 18.
Well, you haven't had a little talk with her?
No, didn't you?
Well, no, but don't you think you should have had some kind of a talk?
Probably, but I never could think of anything that I didn't think she already knew.
All right, well, how did your mother tell you?
Are you kidding?
Well, who told you?
A cousin of mine who went to kindergarten in Alabama.
Would she know much?
Enough to get married to a Texas oil man at 16.
16, yeah.
Who tipped you off?
Oh. Well, if I remember correctly, I think I got my first briefing from another bobcat in the Black Puma Cub Scout den. Fellow named Dolan. The only thing about it was he got most of it backwards. He was on the right track, but he just turned the...
Nothing from your father?
Dad? Well, Dad wouldn't discuss a thing like that with one of his own children.
Well, somebody must tell their children. At least that's what it says in all the books I've read.
Not in our crowd. We got it where people ought to get it, behind the garage. Now, let's be serious about this, Anne. Now, this may very well be the most important problem that Molly will ever be faced with in her whole life. And if she's not prepared for this...
Now, look, Frank, I'm just as concerned about Molly as you are. But children get their standards far more from the kind of homes that they've grown up in and the examples they've seen than they do from any of those miserable little talks in which nobody can meet anybody else's eye. And I think that you and I are reasonably decent and well-behaved people, and, well, for the most part, our home has been a very happy one, hasn't it?
Well, yeah, sure.
Well, in other words, for 18 years, we've done the very best that we could for Molly within the limits of our wisdom, whatever that may be. And if it turns out now that that wasn't enough, well, que sera, sera.
What do you mean, que sera, sera?
What will be, will be.
What will be, will be.
Unless you can think of anything better.
Well, if you don't mind my saying so, I think that's one hell of an attitude for a mother to take toward her own daughter's virtue. And if I had this whole thing to do over again, I'd do everything differently. I'd have boys. As it turned out, she wrote too much as far as I was concerned. I don't know, there are just some things a father doesn't want to know about. And the way Molly wrote, never quite finishing a letter. Boy, I haven't lived through such cliffhangers since they moved the Hitchcock show to my bowling night. And then suddenly there was a change. Things got worse.